Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comet Class. In today's lesson, guys, we'll be looking at the new 52 Batman series, starting with Volume 1, The Court of Owls. And it's been a few days since I had my dental work done. I'm still feeling a little sick. I'm still healing. But I want to get at least this video and hopefully the Ninja Turtles review of Volume 5 out on Saturday, and then I might have to take a little bit of a break still. So I am still healing and recovering, but I do want to drop some content for you guys, that way you're not waiting too long. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and the video of Ninja Turtles hopefully on Saturday. But without further ado, guys, let's jump right into today's video. Let's go. So this story starts off basically showing us the city of Gotham, and the story starts off with a bang, with Batman basically taking on a ton of his rogues galleries such as Mr. Freeze, one of Black Mask's, Clayface, and just multiple villains in his rogues gallery. Eventually he teams up, which seems like with the Joker, and they take on, Batman's rogues gallery, and they basically, I guess, put everyone back into their cells. And yeah, we'll get this explained in a little bit on why Joker was fighting with Batman. But Batman goes off to talk to Commissioner Gordon, and Commissioner Gordon basically tells him that it kind of seemed like he was fighting alongside the Joker. But Batman basically says that that's ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous, Jim, basically is what he says. And Jim just says, that's what I figured, just a simple trick of the light. Now it gets revealed to us that Batman basically used some type of cloaking device, or I don't know what you would call this, like facial recognition device that changes your face. And it turns out that it was Dick Grayson that was acting like the Joker. And Dick has this really funny moment where he asks Batman, if he did a good impression of the Joker, and Batman basically says, you want me to rank you on how you acted as a homicidal maniac, and Dick basically says yes, and it was just a funny moment between the two. Now they basically have a dinner to go to, and Bruce Wayne meets up with what's his name, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne, the rest of his sons. And we have the Bat family all together, with the exception of Jason Todd and the Bat girl, family as well, a part of, Batman's family. So they all have a really fun interaction with each other. And if anyone has recommendations for Batman books that have to deal with the Bat family, just seeing the interactions with Damian, Dick, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and then the Batgirls as well, hit me up down below in the comment section and let me know what stories I need to check out. I just love the dynamic. I love seeing these characters interact with each other. So if there's any books that just focus on that aspect of the Bat family, I want to check it out and I want to bring it to you guys on the channel. So be sure to let me know in the comments down below. So Bruce Wayne basically, gets in his suit and that, gets dressed up, and he goes off to talk about Gotham. And he basically brings out this new initiative that he wants to make Gotham a better place. Then he gets a lot of, applause for, his plan for the future of Gotham. And one of his friends, I guess that's a reporter named Leslie, basically introduces Bruce Wayne to Lincoln March, which is a guy trying to run for mayor. And he basically, tries to get Bruce Wayne's vote for him, for mayor, and basically, kind of like gets introduced to him, and they kind of like, hit it off, and they basically try to become friends. Now, Bruce leaves the party kind of early, and he gets into his Batman uniform, and he goes to talk with, I think his name's Harvey Bullock. And, Bullock basically tells Batman that this guy that they found is named, I guess, John Doe or something. And he was basically stabbed to death. And, you can tell that he was being tortured to death. So this is where it's revealed that Bruce finds out that there's a message that John Doe had left him, basically saying Bruce Wayne will die tomorrow. Basically showing that these Court of Owls, which are like this legend, this myth in Gotham, basically are hunting down people, and Bruce Wayne is next on their target list. So Bullock basically tells Batman that while he's having this interaction with him, talking to him about everything that's going on, he basically tells him that he's not trying to knock Bruce Wayne. He knows that he's friends with him, but he has to understand that even though Bruce Wayne talks about knowing Gotham, even though Batman might think he knows Gotham always will have secrets, and sometimes if you get too comfortable, it will stab you in the back. This is where it's revealed that the DNA match that Batman finds off of John Doe is matching Dick Grayson. Because it was, I guess, some type of DNA under his fingertips, and that DNA belongs to Dick Grayson, and this will get revealed later on. Now we jump into the next day, and in the next day we get to see that there's these smugglers are smuggling these women, these foreign women or something like that, and basically are going to try killing them and trying to throw them off of the train to kind of get I don't know if it's the train or I think it's the helicopter that they're in, that they're going to throw these women off to kind of get Batman off their trail. And we get this really funny moment where he says, that at least, they scream or something like that, one of the entrances about the women. And Batman just, rips the dude out of his seat, and the dude, screams. And it was just a really funny scene. And he does a really good job, Scott Snyder, in the dialogue and writing, and it just feels good to enjoy Batman again. So I had read the Tom King run, and that ruined Batman for me for a while, but I'm glad what's happening with James Tynion. His work is great, the ongoing stuff right now, and going backwards and finally reading the New 52, jumping in with this volume 1, I'm really enjoying the dialogue and the comedy and everything, the action. This is just a good book overall. But Batman rips this dude out of his seat, and he jumps on top of the train itself, and he just drives his motorcycle straight, or bat cycle straight into the helicopter, which I'm surprised didn't kill anybody. And we don't get to see the aftermath of what happened, but I'm pretty sure he saved the day and sent these people to jail or left them for the police. It's not really shown to us, but that's what we can assume. Now, Batman finds more information off of the autopsy and finds out that the Court of Owls seems to have more of a hand in this, but Batman kind of refuses to believe the Court of Owls is actually a real thing, and this will get revealed to us later on why Batman's so adamant on not admitting that the Court of Owls could be real. And Commissioner Gordon basically tells Batman if he's actually found the DNA on whose DNA was under the fingertips, but Batman basically doesn't tell him that it's actually Dick Grayson's, because he has to keep Dick Grayson's identity a secret, because he's Nightwing, you know what I mean? He can't be in these type of situations with the police, so he keeps that information to himself. And Nightwing basically talks to Batman, overlooking the John Doe, and he reveals to us that during that night when Batman had that ceremony where he was talking to all those people about the Gotham initiative that he wants to do, that this guy actually came and grabbed Dick Grayson and actually had scratched him or something like that, and that's how he got the DNA of Dick Grayson under his fingertips. Now, Batman the next day, or maybe the same day, I have no idea, goes to talk to Lincoln March. And Lincoln March reveals to him after Batman's about to leave that he's like him and that he lost his parents, but that the city of Gotham actually saved him and gave him a future. Basically, I guess he had gotten adopted or something like that. He made a future for himself, and he was saved by the boys' home. And they're very similar in a way, but before Lincoln can kind of tell Bruce what's up about the Court of the Owls and everything that's going on, his guards basically get murdered, they get attacked, and it's revealed to us because Lincoln gets attacked as well, and Bruce kind of freaks out, wondering what's happening, and it's revealed to us that the Talon has arrived, and the Talon in the rhyme, the nursery rhyme or something like that, the myth of the Court of Owls is the the messenger of the Court of the Owls, the guy that comes to kill you, basically to take you out on the orders of the Court of the Owls, which is amazing. And he's really threatening, and Bruce and him get into an encounter, a fight, and Bruce gets knocked out the window, and this is like, I forget how many feet in the air, but they basically engage in a fight mid-air, because I guess the Talon, jumped off as well, or Bruce grabbed him. One of those things happened, and Bruce was able to outsmart the Talon by utilizing something on the Gotham Tower that he knew that there was like a fifth gargoyle, a secret gargoyle that only the Waynes would really know. So he kind of got saved by his own knowledge that he had because he was a Wayne. And he basically has the Talon fall to his death, or supposed death. Now it's revealed to us that the Talon actually isn't dead, and he wakes up on his way to the morgue and kills everyone in the morgue, or the ambulance thing that car that's holding him, and he basically starts driving it and going to where his base is, or wherever he's at. Now we go into a flashback showing I think his name's Alan Wayne, and this is Bruce's like great grandfather or something like that. And he basically had gone so paranoia basically over the Court of Owls that he actually died in the sewer, naked and stuff like that. That's how he was found. And it'll be revealed to us, later on what happened to, not Thomas Wayne, Alan Wayne. Now, we also jump into present day, and we get to see that Batman is searching the sewers for any sign and any clues to where the Court of Owls could be. So he goes and tries to talk to the different gangs that are running the sewers, that have their bases there. And he basically gets some information about the Owl guy, the Talon, and, basically Batman's just trying to, figure all this out. Now, basically after that, we get to see that Bruce Wayne talks to Alfred, talking to him about the Court of Owls, and that conversation doesn't go many places, but we get to see, the interaction between Bruce Wayne and Alfred, and that he's trying to figure it out with Alfred, because Alfred might know something because he's more older than Bruce and might know some clues in the past. And nothing really comes out of that. Except Alfred giving some advice on how Bruce should handle the Court of Owls, this whole situation with this mystery. Now, Bruce goes to see Lincoln March and basically tells him, all the stuff that's going on, trying to figure out, what the Court of Owls would want with him. And Lincoln does make a good point that maybe when Bruce talked about the Gotham Initiative, that he's going to start changing some stuff. They want him out of the picture because he's going to mess with their plans for Gotham, because they control Gotham, from the underground, basically. So this gives Batman Bruce the idea to go try to find the Court of Owls base, and he actually figures it out by figuring out that they are kind of like superstitious, that they use like a 13th floor that no one ever used, because it kind of like symbolized death, and he finds the Talon's hideout, his base of operations, basically, and we get revealed to the Court of Owls, these people that wear very fancy clothes, very old style clothes, and these white owl masks. Eventually we get to see that the Talon as well is seen in these pictures with the Court of Owls, so it's all coming together, and Bruce can no longer deny that the Court of Owls does exist. And before Batman can escape, get out of this base, basically triggers a trap wire, and the whole place explodes, with the Talon just looking at it. Now, Batman escapes because, he's Batman. Not sure how he did it, but he survived the explosion, escaped the building, and was able to make an escape. Now, Batman, talks to Dick Grayson, and they talk about the bones of Alan Wayne, basically trying to figure out what exactly is going on with the Court of Owls. This sort of revealed to Batman's backstory with the Court of Owls, where whenever his parents were killed, he blamed the Court of Owls for what happened, and tried to find clues upon clues to find the Court of Owls' base, try to prove that they exist. And this led him into a situation where he actually got into a type of, kind of like starvation. He got locked in a room, and Alfred found him, not too late, but at a point where he had to stay in the hospital for like 3 weeks. So he basically tells Dick that, he doesn't want to believe, or he feels like he believed in it, but it wasn't real because he never could find evidence of it. But like Dick says, you have to remember that Gotham has existed for 400 years, so there has to be stuff that Batman does not know. He isn't Gotham, you know. He knows the modern Gotham, but he doesn't know all of Gotham's history. There has to be something there. And we do know there's something there. So we've seen the talent, we've seen the Court of Owls in those pictures, and this sort of story really takes off because Batman goes into these sewers, and while he's working to figure out something about the Court of Owls, where they're at, the talent arrives and just like smashes Batman into the wall, and I guess he knocks him unconscious with the amount of force he used in that. And he basically takes Batman into this type of labyrinth, this maze, and we see the Court of Owls basically looking at Batman through this TV screen. And yeah, Batman is like in this maze for like, I think it's like 3 weeks or something, or 8 weeks. It was crazy, and he's trying to survive. He's losing his mind. Everything looks the same. There's this fountain with this owl that's just spraying out water, which will be very important in a little bit. And we also get these inverted pages with these inverted panels, kind of showing Batman's craziness that he's going through. I wasn't really a fan of this, to be honest. It was really a chore to read, because I had to keep flipping the pages I was reading online. So that sucked, but overall, really good content. The content is good. It was just the way they did the panels. I wasn't really a fan of that. I think it was something that could have been portrayed differently or conveyed differently. But yeah, so now we get to see that Batman's family is getting affected as well with his disappearance. I'm guessing that there's tie-in issues to this with the ongoing Batman series that were going on during this time, but I'm only reading the volume 1 of Court of Owls, so I'm not seeing any of that. But we do get to see Damian Wayne tell Commissioner Gordon that they need to get a new bat signal because they've ran it so much that it explodes. And we get to see this very vulnerable side to Damian, and I think that's amazing. I really do enjoy Damian's character. I think he gets a lot more hate than he should, because at the end of the day, he is a child. And I think this moment really solidifies that he really cares about his father. He's come a long way since he was first introduced, as a character. Now, Batman, we shift back to Batman, and he gets attacked by the Talon, basically telling him that the Court of Owls has ordered him to die, or sentenced him to die. And they get into a fight, and he basically defeats Batman. And he tells the Court of Owls that they need to make a decision on, do they want him to finish it off now or make him suffer more? And they give it to the choice of a child who says make him hurt him more, basically. And he says, my pleasure, my lady, and just like throws Batman. And while Batman's like fighting these mind games I think it's just mind games. I don't think these Court of Owl people actually came to fight Batman, just that would be like suicide. Batman's gonna watch all these people, so I think he was just in his mind. But he gets into this kind of like primal rage, because he just like losing it, because he's been in here for like 8 weeks or something like that. And he gets into a fight with the Talon with all this rage, and he even tells them that I am sick to death of owls, and he basically punches the Talon. And the Talon says, you dare? He says, oh, I do. And he just like dodges the Talon's attack, and he just tells him that you're gonna see what I want you to see, that this entire time you've been making me see what y'all want me to see. I'm gonna show you what I want you to see. And he says, so take a look, and he smashes the Talon the same way that the Talon smashed him in their first encounter, not first encounter, but in the sewer. And he basically tells him, look at that replica you have of Gotham City. That isn't Gotham City. That's not what it needs to be. It's not what it's gonna be. And that it's just an arts and crafts project. And they get into this awesome fight. And he tells them, you're nothing more but a hired thug. You're a pawn, you're not special, and no matter what they've told you, no matter what you tell yourself, and now what you really are is finished. And he lands the final blow on the Talon, and he defeats him. Batman, after defeating the Talon, basically leaves an explosive and makes a hole to escape, and he escapes the Court of Owls, basically letting them know that because of the water that he was drinking, he knows that they're close to a river that he knows about because it's the only river that has that type of minerals in its water that has that taste. So their base is pretty much found. Batman's a smart detective, so they know they have to take an action now before he gains all his strength back, because it's going to be over with him and the Bat family coming after them. So they basically say they need to awaken the other Talons, because there's no need to revive the Talon that was used against Batman, because they have so many more, and that's what those coffin themes, those red coffin themes were, as the old lady, Court of Owls person had said, that there's way more of them. Now, Batman gets saved as he was stuck in some ice, but he gets saved by this person that I'm guessing was a character in one of the tie-ins, but I'm not gonna know who they are because I'm only reading the volume. So they basically save Batman's life, and he gets a jump start. Basically, they use car jumpstart wires to jumpstart Batman's heart. I guess his heart had gone into cardiac arrest because of the freezing ice and that he was trapped in. He had tried to escape through the sewer, but there was I guess he went to a place where it was all ice on the top. And if you know anything about how that works for human bodies, you can go into cardiac arrest if your body goes to that type of temperature shift. So it does make sense, and I think it's really cool that some side character actually saved Batman, because it's supposed to be a reboot, because it was the New 52. So I'm glad they didn't make Batman unbeatable right off the start in the first volume. So I really respect that. Now Batman escapes. He doesn't escape. He leaves from that girl basically, and he goes back to where the Batcave is. And Alfred basically says, halt, identify yourself. And Batman's just, crying. He says, "It's me." It's a very emotional moment, and we get to see that Alfred is surprised that Bruce is actually still alive. And he brings Bruce inside, and he even tells him that we thought you were dead, that your rogues gallery somehow found you in the ice because there was a hole there where he was at, and that they had taken you and probably killed you. But he says that no, it was someone else that had found me, and I guess brought him back to life. Saved his life. So Batman freaks out when he sees that the Talon is actually there in the Batcave and tied down, strapped down. And Alfred basically says that he's found him whenever, he went to look for Bruce in the area that Bruce was at. This Talon guy was at too. And it's revealed why the Talon didn't, wake up, just the other time when he was, being taken to the morgue. That will be explained in a little bit. But Batman basically, instead of getting rest, like Alfred says, he says, get him on the table. And Nightwing shows up and he basically talks to Batman, and Batman reveals that this guy that that was the Talon that he was fighting against in the Court of Owls labyrinth is actually Dick Grayson's great grandfather. And Dick doesn't take kindly to this because he feels like Bruce doesn't trust him and his good nature to be able to know that his grandfather was this Talon guy, and that he won't turn evil because he feels like he needs to, just it's what his family did. And like Nightwing says, or Dick says, he gets to choose his own path. He doesn't care if his great grandfather was a criminal. And Batman just hits him with a fist, a backhand, and he basically takes one of Dick's teeth out, which is very impressive. To be able to only take that one tooth out, the one you needed to show Dick that he was supposed to be the next Talon. I guess comic book logic, you can say. And yeah, Batman basically explains to Nightwing that he was supposed to be next Talon. That's why John Doe had, in the beginning of the story, the guy that had gotten murdered had scratched Dick Grayson and tried to talk to him because he was going to be the one to train Dick Grayson. Had Dick Grayson not been adopted by Bruce Wayne's Court of Owls, to try to find someone from that family, from the Grayson family, and Dick would have probably been the person they chose because of his talent. So that's really interesting, and hopefully that plays more into Volume 2, which is the City of Owls story. Now we jump into the end of the comic, the end of the volume, with the Court of Owls members basically having an army of Talons, basically saying that we will take back our city and we will take back our kingdom. And they all fly out into Gotham, and he says, now go and take Gotham City. and it looks like it's going to be chaos for Gotham City. And it's going to be a battle for the ages, definitely an iconic battle in Batman's history, and that's coming in Volume 2, The City of Owls. And yeah, that was Batman New 52 Volume 1, The Court of Owls, and I was impressed, guys. I've heard so many great things for years about the Court of Owls, but actually reading it and going through this story, it's made me so excited to continue this New 52 Batman run. Like I said, I had read Tom King's run, I read the entire run, made me almost quit Batman. I really hate Tom King's run. But when James Tynion took over, he's made Batman great again. Just some great stuff, and I hear great stuff's happening right now, but I mainly just wait till the volumes are done and then I read them so I can bring them to you guys as a whole story, a portion of the story, as you could say, in some cases. And with the Scarecrow, the Fear State story arc coming really soon, I'm very hyped for that, and I can't wait to get caught up with the stuff that's already came out so that I can bring you guys Fear State, because Fear State's going to be amazing. And Scarecrow has such an amazing design. But going back to New 52, this first volume got me hyped for everything. Every one of the main story arcs that Scott Snyder and Craig Capullo, whose art is just fantastic. Probably one of my favorite Batman artists of all time, if not my favorite. I just love how he made this whole book just look amazing, and I can't wait for the rest of this run. I'm just so excited. But yeah, be sure to comment down below what you guys think of New 52 Batman. Does it get better from this point on? Is City of Owls as good as the Court of Owls, or is this like one of the stories that kind of like dips in its second half? It's part 2, as you could say, because I'm really hoping it doesn't, because this was just fantastic. Some of the best Batman story I've ever read. Like, it's just like, it's up there. It would be one of my favorite Batman stories ever that I've ever read. But yeah, that's gonna be all, guys. I'm gonna be trying to do one volume every week, the same thing I'm doing with TMNT, and I'm gonna be just running these two probably until I finish both of them, or finish one of them, I guess you could say, and then I'll jump into something else. I will be making an exception for Spider-Man, because Sinister War is happening right now, and I do want to be covering that, so I'm gonna be covering the Chameleon Conspiracy hopefully next week. Like I said, I'm still recovering from the dental stuff that I had done. I don't feel the greatest right now, but I felt bad that I haven't done a video in like a week or whatever, like maybe it hasn't been a week, but I want to get at least one video out in case I don't get the TMNT video out on Saturday. And yeah, but until next time, guys, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.
I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out again. My future needed clarity.